Nice. Sweet. Okay.
Bye, Emma.
Oh, she pieced out.
You gonna find me some more old ass candy?
That's so
No?
funny. I was listening to some other podcast a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about when they were kids, they used to steal a bunch of candy from the video rental store because they just had this like giant jar of candy. But they started stealing it when their family was going through a rough patch, and they were just like, well, our parents aren't going to be able to buy us candy anymore, so we should steal this candy and hide it away for when we need it. And they just completely forgot about it and like eventually came
Damn.
back to it and was just like, what the hell is all this?
Our secret stash.
Yeah,
So secret that we forgot about it.
exactly.
Yes, it's funny because the kids just started school, and Kate's teacher has a big ass bowl of like yeah Butterfingers and this awesome candy,
Yeah.
and it's like rewards when the kids are good. And she also gives out Pokemon cards and stuff
What? I
as
want to
rewards.
go
And
back
I'm
to
like,
preschool.
fuck, I want to go back to second grade.
Second
What's
grade?
up?
Hell
Sign
yeah.
me up. I would destroy second grade now. I'll be the champion of second grade. I'd walk home with all the shiny Pokemon cards. Woo! Check it out, mom. Look what I did today. Just high on candy, man. That's the life.
That would be the life.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 22 of The Captain's Log, one of the many podcasts that we do here at the Whatnauts. This is our off-topic show. Sit back, relax, hang out with us. If you're in the chat, thank you for joining us live on twitch.tv/the Whatnauts or the whatnauts.com/live streams. It's all the same thing, basically. But thank you guys for checking it out. Let me actually pull up the thing here so I know it's working. It is working. So you guys can always chime along in there and make fun of us or agree with us or pit us against each other. It's going to be fantastic.
You can try. Nothing can change my love, Kyle. I mean, they can try. I'm a loyal friend. I'm a loyalist of friends.
His love is way too strong. Yeah. Anything else? What I try and like in my mind, I have this like perfect idea of what the like introduction and what the whole like rigmarole thing is going to be each time, and then I'm always like, oh, maybe I should say, wait, no, we can wait on that until after or like midway in between. And it never comes out right. So I end up just being like, yeah, and I guess you guys can go do this one thing. Where
I mean, that
else? I
works.
don't know.
You know.
Yeah,
You
so
know. We don't need a script, man. This is a show. We flip the script. We just throw it out. This is all improv all the time.
there you
Off the
go.
rails.
What's this shirt that you have on here? I was about to ask you that off
Oh,
camera, but
so you can't see it at home, kids. Only Kyle gets the Splendor. Or actually, can they
unless
see the
you're
video?
watching on YouTube,
Okay.
we do have cameras
I,
up
I
on
forget that
YouTube.
I forget that we actually like broadcast this thing. Yeah, I mean audio wise, yeah. I don't really think of video. Anyways, I am wearing my Resist shirt. It is all the good guys from the newer Star Wars trilogy. So you got Rey looking like a fucking badass with her lightsaber,
Mhm.
Chewie in the squad. It's one of our work shirts. My boss, well, I feel like once or twice a year buy us all like really cool shirts. Like for Free Comic Book Day, there's always there's always one for every single year, and she buys those for us, and that's like we wear those on that day so we all dress the same and everyone knows who we are.
Yeah.
Normally we don't have a dress. We have a dress code. Every job has a dress code, but it's like super lax, But like, we don't have a uniform normally, but it's kind of like on that special day. And so the Resist shirt was that's one of the options that we can wear during like big events and stuff where we want to wear kind of matching things. And we don't get political at
Interesting.
work, but it does say Resist on it, so it's kind of like, well, you
That
can,
that
you
is
know,
the most
you
political. Yeah.
yeah, it's like you can kind of read between the lines a little bit there. But yeah, I love it. I only own two Star Wars shirts, and the other one is also one of my work shirts, and that one's really cool. And that one's like kind of a light blue, and it just says "I'm a force for change,"
Okay,
and that one's really cool as well. But this one,
that's cool.
it just has the cool graphic on it and
I
everything. You know, it's just
I
the rebel symbol.
I saw the rebel symbol, but I kind of connotate the word resist in like the nerd culture with the X-Men comics. So I was like,
Yeah.
I think it's X-Men, but there's a Star Wars symbol in the R there. I was like, what is this, some like fan made shirt, or I don't know, but you just
It's a
confirmed
yeah, it's a
Star
trip. It's
Wars.
kind of like a light. It's like a light tie-dye effect going on. It's like a white and a gray, and yeah, it is kind of very mainstream Star Wars. I do have several X-Men shirts, of course,
Yeah.
as well. I was actually just having a conversation with someone the other day. You know what I miss? It was Frank down at the Danger Room, the other awesome local comic shop. I miss like 90s, specifically early 90s comic book shirts because they were one thing you could find back then. You could go into like any store and find like a cool shirt. And also they were just extreme, man. They were over the top. They were all like fucking like neon and wild and like
Yeah.
I had a shirt when I was in the eighth grade and I thought it was like the hottest shit ever because it had a super close up of Wolverine holding up the claws, looking like a pimp, and then like shrunk way down compared to him was Sabretooth. And like it almost looked like Sabretooth was dancing and like fucking like you just saw like the three big ass claws. But yeah, I remember I had some like the fucking it'd be like Jim Lee's art in like a white shirt, but then it'd be like splashes of like almost like the Living Color intro, like someone just like threw fucking hot pink on it, like yeah, and just like threw neon shit all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still love all that shit. It's like, and a lot of that stuff's really expensive now, collector's items. It's one of those back in the day you could have fucking, bought it for like $8 or whatever. But I miss a lot of that stuff. I don't miss a lot of the comics and stuff from that era, but I miss, stuff. Comic stuff's mainstream now, but it's like, I don't know, it's a different, like, a different kind of thing. And I don't like the shirts as much. They're usually just copies of like covers and things like that now, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know, there's something about early 90s comic book fashion that was horrible and yet awesome at the same time. And
Pouches everywhere.
yeah, well, it's funny because yeah, in the actual comics themselves, but yeah, like I don't recall there ever being like actual like I don't know, X-Men pants with pouches. I mean, maybe they
I
tried
mean,
it, I just don't
cargo
remember.
pants was like the closest thing,
Yeah,
with a
dude.
whole bunch of
And
like belts and like military bags or pouches, or
cargo pants were hot when my senior year of high school. That was 98, 99. That was kind of the peak of cargo pants being cool. And I loved it at the time because I still had my Sony Discman,
there you go.
and I could put it in my pocket, and then in my other pocket, my other cargo pocket, I could have my little fucking flip case of CDs. I got like, oh man,
Yes.
I got 10 CDs in here, son, and I got extra batteries. That's how much I can listen to music for days. If you had showed me an iPod then, I would have like literally fallen over dead. Like I would have like
Yeah.
had no like what like
It's
fucking thousands of songs. It would have blown my mind.
it's strange because I feel like I'm right on the end of that generation. Like I still like I never had a Walkman proper. But
Oh
I know
man.
I had like CD players. I had those little binders of all the CDs that you burned and stuff like that. And so like I know that stuff. I know most of it and can still remember. Like yeah, I had those. Like, but that
Man,
was
there
like
was an art to the mixtape.
there
It's
certainly was.
something. There's, I mean, you can make.
It's
I
the
love now that you
playlist
can make you
now.
can make a cool you can make a playlist now, and the cool thing about making a playlist is it's like super accessible. You can share it wherever, and I think that's cool. And there's certainly a lot of validity to it. But there was something about the magic of having this finite amount of space
Hmm.
on this
You
cassette.
remember getting the two radios and waiting for your song to
Oh
come
yeah,
on and
oh
then
yeah.
recording it?
Well, there was a Twitter meme that was going around, and it was like, describe how old you are without using numbers.
Yeah.
And It's like, someone just knocked on my door. I'll be right
Someone
back, just in case it's the mailman or something.
with the doorbell. All right. We are back before we got so rudely interrupted.
You know what it was?
What?
So there's a really good Chinese place in town. Well, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say it's really good. There's an acceptable Chinese place in town.
I know the feeling.
But I mean, I've gone there. I've eaten there. It's kind of middle of the road. It's not my first pick, but I've never gotten sick while eating there, and I guess that's the thing. Anyways, this place, Emperor's Palace, there was a very very nice older gentleman who was very excited to give me my delivery until I informed him that I was not in fact Tiffany, and that this was not in fact my food. It actually smelled really good, so I contemplated for a minute. I was like, maybe I should take it, but
I wouldn't be Tiffany.
I'm not gonna do that. Damn, like yes, I'm Tiffany. Like yeah.
Yes,
I don't think
I'm Tiffany.
Shit, all I gotta do is sign. Damn, it's already paid for. What's up now? I wouldn't do that to my neighbors, but now I'm sad though because it smelled real good.
We get that all the time because the house that I live in, the basement is its own apartment, even though they technically haven't actually separated it. Like we can still go downstairs into their apartment, but that's its own apartment, and the door is on the side of the house, so they have to go like through our front gate into like the back gate, and that's where their door is. And then we have a separate garage, which has also been turned into its own apartment, which you also have to go
compartmentalize that whole place.
Yeah, so you also have to go back in that gate to get the food and stuff that they get, and they always knock on our door, and we're always like, guys, just tell them to go in the back gate. Like, you can give special directions. Like, we are the separated garage in the back.
Unless they're trying to be a dick, like, you don't get this pizza, you don't get nothing. You don't get none of this Mexican
like it's
food.
getting to the point where it's like, look, I'm
Cold as ice.
just gonna take a slice of pizza every time it happens.
That's like fucking
let me get one slice of
right
cheese
there.
and the rest of them are around back. Thanks.
For real. What's up?
She's podcasting. That's what she's doing.
I mean, sometimes I also just make high pitched shrieking noises. That's true. That's also podcast.
That's
I feel like I've
kind
done
of adulting. Just
like, is this podcasting? Yeah. Oh man.
Good stuff. So what have you been up to this week?
Well, it was Emma's first week of preschool, so that was like the big change. She just goes a couple of days in for just like a couple of hours. It's not for long, but it's cool. Like Kate, starting at 3 months old, was in daycare, and then when she turned 3, she started going to preschool at the same place. So Kate's been socialized from a super early age, but we weren't able to send Emma when she was younger because Kate was still in daycare at the time, and we just couldn't afford 2 kids in daycare. So Emma, until this week, has been just a stay-at-home kid. I mean, like, we go to the park and go hang out with, whatever, we get out, but it's not the same thing. And so, she's gone 2 days. She's completed the first week of school,
and she really taking it well.
Yeah, actually doing really well. She's really clingy sometimes. If you couldn't tell, she's literally attached to me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually did really, really well. Didn't freak out at all when I left, and the teacher said she's actually been a good role model for because I guess they go to there's like babies and stuff. I haven't done a full. I don't know why the shriek was for babies. Like, I don't know what that was, but anyways, I guess they go visit like littler kids as part of their curriculum, and the teacher was saying she's like been a good role model for like the little kids. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, because Emma's kind of a follower a lot of the time because she just follows her sister around all day and does whatever she does. So it's kind of cool to see that given the chance, she can
Yeah.
stand on her own and do her own thing.
Do you,
Which I mean, I never doubted. It's just kind of hasn't really been the situation
do
to
you,
date.
do you have any significant memories from when you were in preschool? 'Cause
I don't.
I
My
I
memory
have
started
two.
around 5. I really don't remember much before that. I was in kindergarten in 1985 into 86, and I remember bits of kindergarten. Anything before then, I mean, I've seen pictures and home videos and stuff. But it's like not my actual memories of it, you know.
Yeah,
So like, it's about 5 that it's this is the most solid that
for
I
the
can think of.
most
That
part, that's the same way with me. But every once in a while, I'll just have this like snapshot or just this like 2 or 3 second like vignette of like I see something and it's like, oh, I remember that was a real event and that thing happened. But that's about it. Um, the two things. The first one is pretty mundane, but I guess for how old I was, it was significant. I taught myself how to use a swing, like on like a swing set on the
yeah,
playground. Like had to, without someone pushing me, I figured it out, and I was like, yes, amazing. The other thing we did though, I remember we were playing Power Rangers and we ended up sending some poor kid to the hospital
oh geez,
because we beat him up. He was the bad guy, and we ended up sending him to the hospital.
it's morphin time.
Yeah, we're like, it's morphin' time, bitch. Get ready.
Yeah, damn. That's savage.
Yeah, and
Jeez.
like I don't remember what exactly happened. It was obviously enough where it was bad enough that he had to get sent to the hospital, but none of us got in trouble. Like it was more of just like, oh, these kids were just horsing around. Like we know you didn't actually mean to like actually hurt him. Like you guys were just playing some game, and this is what ended up happening. But yeah, like thinking back, it was like, yeah, dude, we beat this kid up. Like, what happened? Like, I don't remember exactly what we did or what happened, but I have this like 4 second vignette. Like,
Yeah.
by time I had backed off, I had heard the sirens, and like that was it. Like that's all I remember. So who knows?
See, I grew up in the South until I was 7, and then we moved to South Korea for 6 months, and then we moved to Washington State after that, and that's where I've lived ever since, with the exception of the 91-92 school year. I lived in Enid, Oklahoma for that school year. But yeah, and that was interesting. But yeah, so growing up in the South was real weird. Like I'm ambidextrous. Like I use, I don't really favor one hand or the other. It kind of it's like different tasks for different things. So like
Sure.
I play guitar. I play guitar right-handed. Photography wise, my right hand seems to be, that seems to work just fine. But like sports, left-handed for everything sports. Throwing the ball, baseball,
Actually
everything.
kind of the same way with me. I'm left-handed.
I'm supposed to write with my left,
But I do a
but
lot of things with my right hand. Like like that's how I taught myself.
well, my kindergarten teacher. One of my earliest memories, sadly, is a negative one, and that is I wanted to write left-handed because I'm supposed to be left-handed, at least when it comes to writing, and I was forced to write with my right hand
Slave
because.
labor.
Well, even in 1985 Alabama, the old superstition that it's like, yeah, evil or whatever it is to be left-handed was an actual
Never heard
thing
that
still.
one.
Yeah, that's like it was a pretty common thing back then. Like, oh no, no, no one's left-handed. Like that's not right, like at all.
You're
And it was
the
like
devil.
it was like a weird superstition for real, and like that. I mean, I don't remember what her exact words were, but it was definitely like, no, this is not a choice. You're gonna be right-handed. And to this day, my handwriting is just atrocious. It's just horrible, and it's not like I haven't, tried to make it better. Uh, but I always, literally every time I sign my name, I just think, fuck, man, I'd probably, this would probably look a lot better if I, and it's one of those things that like when I was like in like maybe middle school, I tried to write left-handed, but I've been doing it for, so long the other way that it
Yeah.
just felt weird. I just couldn't do it. Yeah, that was weird.
Because
Um,
I taught myself to play sports. Like I play basketball right-handed, but that's I taught myself that, and it was because I saw everyone else doing that. So I was like, oh, that's just how it is. Like that's just what you
yeah,
do. Um, but yeah, it's strange that the like all it takes is practice, really.
yeah,
So
yeah. A lot of the shit was pretty like, I mean, we consider it pretty racist by today's standards too.
sure.
Like, got a bunch of pictures of me like painted up like a Native American kid and like with this like fucking ridiculous, like cardboard fucking feathers and shit. Like, oh man, that's oof. I don't think we could get away with that now, but we don't talk about the pilgrims, y'all.
Yep.
Like, oh Jesus, yeah, yeah. I
I'm
shudder to think of the actual lesson.
kind of curious to find out what they teach and how they teach it nowadays, or how they will in like 5 or 10 years from now, because like I'm sure so much is gonna be different. Of just like, well, here, like, well, actually, here's what happened.
It'd be
Here's the
nice
real
if,
thing.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, my wife's a teacher, so I don't want to sound like I'm like talking shit on the educational system, but my personal experience with public education was basically being fed a bunch of propaganda bullshit and
Sure.
then getting to college. And then in college, they're like, oh, actually, it was this. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Oh, fuck. And then it like being just really mad about everything. Wait, Columbus was a horrible person. Oh, genocide. Genocide was a word that just got used. Oh, but why does Columbus have a holiday? Oh,
I don't know.
Jesus. Yeah, things like that. Like, man, I had no
Yes.
idea. No idea. Like, it was like I took the fucking blue pill. Like, Jesus Christ. Maybe like easing into it a little more. Just
Yeah.
just the tip, just to see how it feels. Like, give me a little bit of truth at a younger age would have been nice. But yeah, it's good times. It's good times.
Strange
I
stuff.
just saw today. Texas, because of course not, it's Texas, right? They are going. They wanted to remove Helen Keller and Hillary Clinton from their textbooks, and they are such a large market that if they did that, it would be for like all the nationwide books
I don't
because
like.
they're such a large market themselves.
I'm of the mind, and I was kind of able to get away with it, but I like. Why do we even still have textbooks? Like that's something I don't understand because every year they update them, and you have to get the new one,
And that's
and
exactly why they.
it's so fucking expensive to buy
You're
all
fucking
of
right.
these textbooks and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember in high school when I took chemistry, my chemistry teacher passed out the chemistry textbooks on that first day, and he was like, "Take these home, put these underneath your bed. We're not gonna use these. I wrote my own. I have my own thing, but I'm not gonna make you buy it. Like it's all on like my website, so you can get this stuff as you need." I was like, that's super
Yeah.
smart. Like I like where he's going with that. And I mean, you can get most of this information online for free anyways. It's just like if you have a teacher that's saying, hey, here's the standard that we're gonna like here's the website we're learning from, that at least directs them all to one specific spot and not just like, well, this website says that and this website says this actually, which I mean can still happen, but
Yeah, I mean, if we had educational system that was actually focused around just educating students, we'd have much more affordable or even free access to education. But instead,
Like,
yeah, there's
imagine
a
if
reason
they
you go to
got rid
college.
of. I was just gonna say, like, imagine if they got rid of like having kids purchase all of these textbooks or having the schools buy them, and instead invest that back into lunches or
Yeah, that'd be nice.
breakfast for
That
for
would be nice.
kids who can't
Yeah,
afford it,
people that actually need it.
for
Yeah,
school
that
supplies
would be
that
awesome.
they actually do need to learn this stuff, for
Oh,
computers, who knows.
especially now that so much shit's electronic. Like, do we even need like print media
Yeah.
anymore? I mean, I'm not anti-print media. I work at a bookstore. Don't get me wrong, but like when we're talking, wouldn't it be cheaper just to get every kid a fucking, tablet or whatever, or access to like a computer and then you can just
we
always have the updated PDFs or whatever you
we
need.
had like a specific computer room in our school, and like at like once a month, like you would go in there and you would have your like typing class, or we got to play around on like kid picks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
um there was some more things, but then even like as we got older, by time we hit like fifth and sixth grade, we finally got like a mobile Mac lab, and we had like 30 laptops. And again, like instead of going down to the computer room once a month, like we would get the mobile Mac lab, and we would do some kind of activity on these computers to learn how to use them and stuff. But yeah, like now you would think like, hey, like each classroom. I mean, we also had like two or three computers in the classroom permanently, but they weren't very good. But
Yeah, yeah, they usually are.
I
I
even
can't
have,
imagine
yeah,
that
some
changed.
kind of like 30 or so like cheap tablets that you can get for each classroom, where they can have all of their textbook information on. Like that would be neat. I wonder if they're not already doing stuff like that in certain schools.
I know there's certain like programs and stuff that are, because I've seen some like the Pi laptops and things like that being put in use. So I know it's depends on where you go.
I'm
So
I've
things like that
I've
are starting to
been
happen.
so I before we got on the podcast, I spent like most of the day kind of cleaning very lazily. But this past month or so, I've been like throwing out stuff that I don't need, just junk and papers and old things that don't work, that I for some reason thought I would keep because maybe one day I'll need it. But I have a few of my like college textbooks still on my bookshelf, and my degree is in graphic design. So on one hand, I'm like, well, they still work. Like they still have relevant information. Like I could still go back to those and refer back to them. But I've never opened them. Even in school, they just sat on my shelf. So it's been like 8 years since I've bought them, and so it's like, do I really need those? Like, can I sell them? Can I just toss them? Like, who, can I donate them somewhere? Like, I just like, do I really need to keep these things? They're just sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah,
I don't know.
one of the realest moments of my life was the first time I had to buy college textbooks and then the next semester try to sell them.
Yeah,
And then
I did that my first
what you
semester, and I
ended
was
up
like,
getting
nope,
back, you're like, cool,
never
I
again.
spent like $400 and I got back
$30.
$37.
Yeah.
Woo! College is great. I
Loud
love it.
noises, adulting.
At one time, I had to use my fucking debit card for like fucking 15 cents just because I had to buy one of those like stupid fucking little like blue packets that
Oh, I
has like 10
hate
pieces of
those.
paper in it. I hate, well, I had no cash too, so I was
It's
like, fuck,
15
it felt like
fucking
such an
cents.
idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I think for me it's been um Well, no, I had cash like a week ago, but I think that's only because my roommate paid me cash because he works two jobs. One of which is he bartends, so he gets a whole bunch of cash tips. But I think besides him paying me for the internet bill, that's the only time I have cash.
So yeah,
I don't
I rarely get cash out now.
I don't
I
use
usually only do
cash.
when I'm
Yeah,
going to like Comic Cons and things like that, and I know there's going to be places where either it's cash only or reception is going to be shitty and everyone has like a Square reader or something like that, and
yeah.
so it's just easier. So when I get cash out at any other time, it often sits in my wallet, often for months. Um, Related to we had talked many episodes ago now about how when I write people checks, I put inappropriate messages in the
Yeah.
comments. Well, the other thing that me and Peter used to do when we lived together is it used to be that like me or him or who like we kind of like to alternate who would write the check,
Uh-huh.
and we would just get just a big fat stack of cash out, yeah, so the other person could deposit it. This was years before we realized you could just do like a funds transfer because we were idiots. So we get this big fat stack of money out, and every time we'd be like, leave it on the nightstand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because fucking idiots.
The checks that I have, I don't think I've written one in a year or two. And again, the only reason I wrote one before that was my rent check. But then we were like, "Hey, landlord, there's easier ways to do this. Can we Venmo you? Can we like PayPal you something instead? Which eventually she was like, "Yeah, sure." But the checks that I have are so old. They are from when I was in high school. Like I lived in Northern Virginia. I've been in like two or three different apartments since then, but they all still have my old
Ooh.
my parents' address, and I just don't want to spend the $30 to get new checks. I'm like, I don't need them. Like,
Yeah.
no one's really gonna go fishing to be like, is that the correct address for Kyle Springer? I wonder. Who knows?
Is your dad still writing checks at Burger King?
I'm sure he wishes.
Damn.
No, they're out in Wyoming. So he kills a cow. Anytime he wants a burger, he just like, well, okay, I'm gonna go out back.
So he is the Burger King now. He
He
just
is the
makes it.
Burger
He just
King.
makes like, yo man, I am the Burger King. He just makes his own. Damn,
No,
that's intense.
I'm sure. I'm not sure what fast food they have around there. I'm sure there is a McDonald's or Burger King or something there that he goes to quite often because he's like he's one of those people that will be like, hey man, I don't care if my cholesterol is high. I am gonna die happy. Like I'm,
Yeah. Hell yeah, we
I'm
were
gonna,
having a conversation about cheese and the gout on Twitter earlier this week.
yeah,
I got 2 years to go. I got 2 years to go to get the gout before I'm 40. And if I
yep,
don't, I feel like I failed the dairy industry.
yeah.
I'm giving it my all, you guys. I'm trying.
No one wants to
Nothing
be a
yet.
failure. That's the
I know.
thing. So
Damn. Goals, you guys. You have to Kim Jong the Un or whatever the fuck his name is. It can happen to me too. Man, gout. Damn.
there you go. So I
I'm just
I
not.
I mentioned that my roommate works two jobs. The second one that he does is he is a barber. And just yesterday was I went to go get my hair cut with him, and that was the first time that I had actually like gone into a barber shop to get my hair cut. Um, and it like I mean I guess I've been in there when I was younger when my parents didn't know what to do, but when they
Yeah.
figured out like basically all I want is a buzz cut. they were like, well, we can do that. Like, why do we need to pay $20 each time, to go do this? So
That's
they
smart.
bought their own thing, and I would just have my parents give me my haircut, and then when I left for college, I was just like, well, I can just buy my own, and do all of that stuff. So I don't actually need to go pay someone to get my haircut. But he had been working real hard to get a chair at a certain barbershop here in Richmond, and he finally got it. So he's been like super stoked. And he's been there for like, I'm gonna say like 6 months or so. But our schedules just never really matched up for it to work out. But it finally happened because he was like, hey, you're my roommate, I got you. You don't have to pay for haircuts. Like, I will hook you up, but for the first time I want you to come in the shop. So like I said, our schedules never really worked out, so I've still been doing my own. But yeah, he went in, gave me a slight fade on the sides, and like a bit of a trim on top, and he did a fantastic job. So I'm super excited. But that was
bring back the white boy fade. It's been gone for too long. Bring it back.
He works at a barber shop. Like a whole. It was super nice in there. And it was a mix of like black barbers, white barbers. He's black.
Tell me you need the cuts next time. You need the cuts on one side.
Yeah, next time I'll get the lines in.
Because just on one side though.
Yeah,
that's like it's like.
Actually, you know what? Next time I'm gonna walk in with like a super intricate like picture of Spider-Man. It's like I want that in the back of my head.
Yeah, PS4. Put the PS4 emblem right there. Boom.
Yeah. No, but yeah, like it was exactly like what you would expect. Like you walk in and they got like they had Kendrick Lamar on in the background. They're all like making fun of each other and talking about sports and stuff like that. I was like, this is nice. I like this. This is fun. This is good. I probably will never pay for a haircut again, but thanks. I enjoyed this experience.
Excellent.
It was good.
The guy that cuts my hair is a real asshole. I don't know if I like him. He's kind of a son of a bitch, but he's
like so you get your head shaved.
That's true.
All of that stuff. How much does that usually cost you?
I've never had it done. I've always done it myself. I've always wondered what it would be like to go in and like have someone else, cut me. But
you should just one time.
Probably
like,
someday.
You know what?
I think
I'm just
someday it'd be nice to. Yeah, if I went to like a fancy place where they had like a straight razor and they did like the warm towel and it was like real nice and fancy, that'd be cool. But probably really expensive too.
That's what.
I feel like I should probably experience it at least once. But no, since. I started going bald pretty early in my life, in my early 20s, and so I've been shaving my head since 2003. So I've basically looked the same for the last 15 years. It's always funny when I meet people from the shop and I'll post like some old picture and I look basically the same. So a lot of people at work are convinced I'm a vampire now, but really it's just that my hairstyle hasn't changed. So I just
That's me too, because I got my first buzz cut when I was in first grade, and I remember I hated it because we were at recess and all the girls started like chasing me to like rub it. They're like, it's so short. And I'm just like, I hate this. I fucking hate this. Like, no one look at me. No one pay attention. I think it looks good, yes, but don't touch me. God damn it,
And then it was a couple years later, and they're like, oh, it's so soft. And you're like, hold on.
Damn right what? It is.
Lady, yeah. Funny how that changes.
Exactly, but yeah, like I got buzz cuts ever since, and the pictures of me, except for the dark times in middle school when I was really lazy and my hair was like down to like if I pulled it down, it was to the tip of my nose. But it curled in front. It did like this poof and curl, and then it did that on the sides and back. So it looked like I had this bowl sitting on top of my head, and it was the fucking worst.
Some time.
I have since burned all of those pictures, and they are not online. And I have completely erased.
I need to befriend your parents just so that I can find these, because I need the evidence. I need to see this now. This sounds glorious.
There might be one or two on theirs, and me with like a big beard, and that was terrible too. That was not good. But yeah, for the most part, there are only like one or two pictures in existence of me in like, I hate how I look there.
Yeah, I grew out my hair several times throughout high school, and it would definitely do this like swoop thing where it would like start curling out on the ends, like it'd be like straight, and then and just like a big swoop. Yeah, in hindsight, not a good look. I think going bald was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I look at basically any hairstyle I ever had, and they were all pretty bad. Yeah, they were all pretty horrible. The last attempt I made to actually be cool was the very beginning of my senior year of high school, and my hair had been long, and I cut it all super short and dyed it blonde. And I spiked it all up.
There you go.
And I had my brand new cargos, brand new cargo pants. I got some purple cargo pants. I thought them shits was on fire. I was like,
wow.
Oh my god. I had a blue hemp necklace. I didn't even have a regular hemp necklace. That shit was blue. Like, yeah, you got a hemp, because everyone had a hemp necklace in my high school. Like everyone, you just did. But like my shit is blue though. I got a blue hemp. You got that brown shit. Fuck you. I got blue. So I was like, I thought I was extra hot shit. So I walked in there the first day, my fucking spiky ass hair and like my big ass, like fucking like almost 20-inch wide fucking Jinko looking, but not Jinkos.
You were one of those people, yes.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I walked in there, and then the best part is that it fucking worked, man. Like, so many people are like, oh man, you're the shit now. Yeah. All these like girls that like
okay, man,
they were like, you're so cute. Like, oh, you look
walking
so good
in
now.
looking like a badass.
Literally. And I was only 18, but I remember being like, man, this is some fucking bullshit. Like, I got through like half of that first day, and it was definitely one of those like, be careful what you wish for, because you get like all these people are like, oh, you look so dope, you look so rad. I was sitting there at Newmarket because I spent half the day at this vocational school. Mm-hmm. It was like culinary arts, but all that meant was I knew how to make 100 sandwiches in like 5 minutes. It's like, it wasn't fucking fancy. It was like how to fucking work at Denny's.
So how to work at Subway.
Basically, for real, man. It was like, yeah, how to get a fucking job, which is, I guess, kind of helpful. But yeah, it's culinary arts, I think, actual fucking cooking. But anyways, I got out there. And we were waiting for the buses. Yeah, and it was one of the many times that day someone was like, oh, you're so like, because everyone's like, oh, you're so like, you're more mature now, and you're just like, like people were saying like dumb shit. Yeah. And this girl who I didn't even know her very well, but she like looked like fucking disgusted, and she was like, he got a haircut, you dumbasses, like he's the same fucking person. And I literally walked up and hugged her, and I was like, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Because she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was just like, "Oh, like you guys are all idiots." And I was like, "Thank you so much." Like, it was one of those, yeah. Like I thought I wanted it, and the minute I got it, I was like, "Oh, this is obnoxious." And this one girl was like, "Yes, you, Deborah. Thank you, Deborah." And then I instantly rubbed all the shit out of my hair, because I was like, "Fuck this, I'm not gonna spike it." And then it just like got real poofy like a dandelion.
Oh,
so then
God.
I had to walk around. Because it was like real blonde, it was like almost white. It was like
it was bleach
like,
blonde, yeah.
Yeah, it was bleach. So it was like pre Guy Fieri. It was like it was not a good look, and I instantly grew my hair back out and stopped trying to be cool again. But yeah, I had it for like 4 hours, and I fucking hated it. And I still have one picture of it, and it's real bad.
We had the like in sync Eminem style
Oh yeah.
Haircuts in school, and I remember in third grade I spiked the front of my hair and I would bleach the tips.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Bleach tips. That was
yeah,
the hotness.
yeah, it was awful, and I think I did it for that year only, and it
Yeah.
was only because like it was like me and like two of the other guys did. Like one of them walked in with it, and we were like the three like kind of cool kids, uh, or I guess like somewhat athletic, for that age. So we were automatically the cool kids. But like one of them walked in, and then he was like, "Guys, you have to start doing this," and we're like, "Okay, let's do it," and we all did, and then we're like, "This was stupid, wasn't it?" And we're like, "Yeah, it was dumb. Never again."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. I remember my cousins came to visit right before I dyed it. So I just cut it short, and it was still kind of purple because it had been purple before that. And they all did this thing where they would like gel it, but then they would like comb it down, and then only in the front. They'd like they
Spike it,
comb up just the front, like, but just the front. So it'd be like a wall. It would be like flat,
and
and
then the
then there'd be like this
spike.
weird spike wall only in the front. So you'd have like
That's
flipped up bangs
that's
basically.
kind of what I did, except I didn't like comb all of it. It was just like I don't know. Mine looked more messy. Just like you just like ran your.
Oh man, this shit that probably looked better. This shit was streamlined. It was just like fucking yeah. It was again. I'm not saying it was a good look. Man, being bald is very low maintenance. You just got to make sure you wear a hat so you don't get sunburned. But other than
I
that, it is not bad.
I feel like that would be a lot of work though. I mean,
It's
I
not. It's
don't
really not. I
know,
mean, you
but
gotta. I shave every couple days. You gotta moist. See, the thing with being bald is
moisturize.
you don't have bad hair days, but you got shine, and shine is your bad hair day. So like, you just gotta fucking moisturize though, man. As long as you moisturize, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like you don't realize how much warmth that your hair provides until you
Yes.
shave your head.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like you will often wear a hat because you will have to. Like in the winter
It's
time, I'm
cold.
basically wearing a beanie at all times so I don't like die. But yeah, it's relatively low maintenance. I dig it. Like I take super fast showers compared to everyone else I know because they're all in there trying to like moisturize and shit. I'm like a fucking seal. I'm like out. Done. Woo! It does not take long. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad as long as you
Yeah.
keep up with. If you let it go for a while, then you gotta bust out the clippers again, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, um, yeah, it's funny because now I'm not sure if Tessa dug it at first, but now if I don't shave for like 2 3 days, she'll come up and just like start like rubbing it like what's this what are we doing like what's happening like nothing
You
it's just
don't you
lazy
don't want to
stuff.
look good for me anymore, huh?
Stop. Like, are we just
I
trying
don't
to
mean anything to you anymore. What is this?
Yeah, she hates the beard. She's made a few comments about it, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm keeping it for now. She's convinced I only have it because other people like it, which is not true. But
I mean,
yeah, that's
other
the whole thing.
people do
Yeah.
like it.
Other
I've
people do like it. Other people that is accurate.
Yeah.
But I'm not fucking that chill. But the head there, you still yes, you gotta take it down. You gotta take it down. It looks real bad. Yeah, if I let it go too long now, it looks real horrible. So. No,
Go.
but it's not bad, man. It's pretty quick. It's not. It's pretty good upkeep. It's not for everybody. Like I actually have a nice round head. You just assume that your head looks good. I've seen
It
people shave their heads
and it
that
does
have
not
weird
look
like,
good.
divots and grooves. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can have a fucked up looking head. That's the thing that you just don't think about. Everyone assumes that their head looks good, and some people just have weirdly shaped heads.
Yeah.
My head is fucking beautiful, and I'm thankful because I'm bald, and so it's not really much of an option either way. So I'm glad it at least looks good. But yeah, there's some weird looking domes out there, man. So I've definitely seen some bald brothers, and they're like, oof, you poor son of a bitch. Like I don't even know how that happens. It's like an actual train
Yeah.
track in the back of your neck. I don't even know how that happens in nature, but that's
Who
the thing.
knows, man?
Damn.
Whew. So, I think I talked with you briefly about it last week. I mentioned it briefly on the review show last week as well. I finally beat Spider-Man on
Sick.
PS4. It's fantastic. It is amazing. I platinumed it, which is the first game that I like truly went after the platinum in the game, and it wasn't very hard. Like it was. I mean, like it was difficult. You had to like
Yeah.
put some work in, but I enjoyed it all. Like I've like playing like Fallout 4 or something. There's so much to do in that game that you have to play it for like years to get the platinum. But this one, I started it that Thursday night at midnight, and I beat it, I think, like Monday or Tuesday night, and that's when I like when I beat the game is when I platinumed it. And yeah, it was fantastic. So go check that game out for anyone out there listening. But since I beat that though, I started watching Iron Fist season 2, and I finished that last night. I don't even know what to say about this because there's still so many things wrong with that show. But holy shit, am I excited for season 3. The choices that they made in the second half of season 2 to set up season 3 is by far the most excited I have been for one of the Marvel Netflix shows. Like when I realized what they were doing and like the changes they were making, I shot up in my bed at like 3 in the morning last night when I was watching it and was like fist pumping, like, yes, oh my god, I cannot wait, this is gonna be amazing. And yeah, dude, I am stoked. It was definitely a step up from season 1. Still not like, I mean, to put it this way, it's a much better television show than season 1 was.
Yeah.
It's still not a kung fu show. And who had the stupid idea to make an Iron Fist TV show and only have 2 minutes combined worth of kung fu in the entire thing, in 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Like, what? No. Like, you're missing the entire point of the character. Like, he is the greatest martial artist, and you're having him do no martial arts, and when he does, it's terrible martial arts.
Yeah, that first season was more boring than anything.
They like have. I think, was it 2 weeks ago, I kind of asked you if you had seen a bunch of the Netflix show, and you said you weren't keeping up with it.
That sounds right. It was on a recent Captain's Log for sure. And yeah, I'm still not. What I have been doing is watching a fuck ton of romantic comedies. Because I'm writing the next film, and I'm trying to get. I like to know what the rules are before I break them. So I'm kind of just like looking for tropes and things like that.
The reason I asked, would you mind if I kind of spoil it? What happens in season 2, or are you wanting to still stay away?
I mean, I'm gonna watch it at some point. I just haven't. I haven't even finished Punisher yet, or watched Jessica Jones season 2, or Luke Cage season 2. That's how far behind I am.
There you go. Well, I will avoid spoiling it then, if you do plan on.
Yeah, I'd like to. I do plan on watching it. At this point, it's been so long. I think I'm just gonna start again from the beginning with just Daredevil season 1, frankly, and just start all over again because it's been so long.
It's some good stuff, but yeah.
Honestly, I'm kind of in a Daredevil phase anyway right now. I just started rereading the Frank Miller run.
You might want to start rewatching those shows now, because I think season 3 comes out mid-October, if I'm not mistaken. I think they just released their first teaser, and I think the release date was with that, but I wasn't really paying
I just
attention.
can't watch him
So
around Emma. But Emma, when Emma's in school now, I could watch a couple. I could sneak a couple in while
yeah,
she's at school. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna have to do it.
yeah.
So yeah, that's I know what I'm doing with her school time for
There
the
you
next
go.
couple. Excellent.
There you go. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited for things to come with that show. Like it's one of those things, like there was so much to it. It's like, yes, again, without spoiling it, this is like by far them taking the most chances and the most risks that they've taken within the Netflix shows, because like the Netflix shows don't necessarily follow the comics exactly, right? Like
No.
they'll take inspiration and stuff like that, but they're still very standard of like, this is Daredevil, this is what he does. We're not really gonna deviate from the formula all that much. And this, they're not necessarily deviating from the formula too much, but it's enough where it's like, oh, they're starting to go in their own direction. Like that's one thing that I want, like the comic book movies or comic book shows to do more often. It's like, once you guys get the origin straight, you guys can make up whatever you want. That's what the comics do. They're just making it up as they go along, you know?
Yeah.
So like, you guys can play around and make your own little sandbox here. I'm totally fine with that. And this is, I think, the first time that they're really starting to do that. Of just like, what if we actually did this instead? And like, turn something on your head there. So I'm super stoked.
That sounds promising.
Super stoked. So yeah, good stuff
Cool.
coming out with that. There you go. That's kind of all I've been up to this week, though. I've been playing a lot of video games, and then caught up on Iron Fist Season 2. I'm hoping to kind of dive back into my comics. I mentioned, I think last week, that I was kind of reading some Valiant stuff, or the week before I mentioned that. But it's about time I start diving in with that again. So I think, have you heard much about this Heroes in Crisis thing from Tom King?
I don't know much about it. I know
I'm very interested.
They love to use Crisis, the name Crisis in their big events, and in the first promo image, you have Superman holding Psycho Pirate's mask.
Yeah.
And Psycho Pirate was one of the only characters that remembered the original pre-Crisis universe.
Yeah. X and S and F and
So
G and H and 1, 2, and 3.
Probably some kind of, teaser reference there.
So I think it comes out in a couple weeks. But yeah, it looks like Tom King is dealing sort of with Crisis-related stuff and more of like the overall continuity of DC things. But it looks like, I mean, I guess I don't know too much, but from what I understood, just from like a glance at something, it seemed like he was gonna kind of deal with like the emotional levels of things. Like, it wasn't necessarily going to be an action book, but like, hey, in this thing where the continuity keeps getting erased, and this whole thing with the New 52 was when they first launched it, it's like, we're basically starting from square one. But now with this whole Doomsday Clock thing, Rebirth launch, it's like, well, maybe New 52 actually happened and someone was fucking with you guys. And so, with all of this, like, what's actually happening, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be, it seems like he's gonna dive into what's the like emotional toll that that comes with that, of just like
Yeah,
having your
yeah.
reality actually fucked with.
Yeah, if
Which
that's the
I'm,
case, that could be really interesting.
yeah,
Because
I have my
you've had characters written
ears
out of existence. You've had characters that
perked
were like
up.
married and then suddenly weren't. I mean, you've
Yeah,
some really fucking heinous things have gone down, and some really major changes over the last 30 years plus since they started doing these events. So yeah, it could be that could be a cool exploration of that. Tom King, yeah, from the few things I've read, is a pretty excellent writer. So
yeah. I need to
it should be pretty
catch
cool.
up on Batman because I
Still
read the
haven't.
first 3 volumes like right before the War of Jokes and Riddles. So I need to catch up on that stuff as well. Crazy stuff. Well, let's see. You just got done. We mentioned it last week, filming the Wolverine Chronicles, but
Yep.
episode 1 is now up.
Yeah, yeah, it's been almost a week as of this recording. Yeah, over 1,000 people have checked it out already. We've
That's what's
gotten
up.
mostly really good feedback, and we got 2 thumbs down. We got 2 thumbs down on YouTube, so you gotta have haters. But
There you go.
overall, a positive response. I've had a few people kind of just private message me to say some nice things about it, and
That's cool.
yeah, it's been really awesome. And we just released a trailer as well, so you can see like a sneak peek of like the bigger picture stuff going on in the film, and a lot more of the action, and so that's cool as well. So yeah, that's going well.
Do you guys have like a release schedule for when
Yeah,
episode 2 is gonna be out?
Episode 2 is releasing on Sunday so every Sunday.
Okay.
At 5 p.m. for the next 5 weeks, and then that'll be it since it's just a 6-part one.
So I found the link on YouTube. I was gonna put the link to that single video in the description of this podcast for everyone out there listening. But I'll put the link to the YouTube channel then instead.
Yeah, it's
if you're
Iron
just gonna
Forge
release
Productions.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time this releases, episode 2 will be out, and episode 3 will almost be dropping by that point. Yeah, it's been super awesome, super fun. That's been part of what I've been doing this week is just now that we're done, now it's like the hype train begins and trying to get people to check it out, and I've thrown it out there to just other podcasters and interviewers and stuff. Like, hey, interview us, let us talk about our thing, and
You
they
got
did
your own platform here,
That's
so you
true.
can talk away all you want here.
That's true. So that's been really cool, and they did a couple of interviews at the release party because we had a release party at Steiner's house, the guy that plays Caliban, a couple weekends ago. Jess Beaver, unpaid intern Jess Beaver, actually went with me to that, so that was really cool.
Okay.
So I didn't I didn't invite anyone. They said I could invite friends and family, and he's got a huge house. It was like, they could have been like at least 100 people at this thing, and I had to work all day, and the party started at like 2, and I got off work at 6, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna head straight there, and I'm gonna be so late by the time I even get there. If I get there,
Understand the feeling.
so I was like, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go. Like, and I couldn't take the wife and kids because like the kids got to go to bed at like 8, and it's the whole thing. So
Yeah.
Tessa doesn't really like the X-Men movies, so she doesn't care. So I didn't invite anyone, but one of my other friends posted something about there being a release party, and so when I got in my car and I was about to head up to Renton, which is like about an hour away from where I live, I got a text from Jess, and it was like, "You're taking me to this party," and it wasn't asking; it was like, "You're taking me to this party." It was like, "Oh, yeah, you're taking me to the party."
You can pay me in parties.
Like Federal Way is on the way to Renton. That was exactly what it said.
Pay me in alcohol or something.
So that was fun.
There you go.
Yeah, so we went there, and Steiner has a wood-fired pizza oven that was handmade
Nice.
brick by brick in his backyard, and so we just made little pizzas and stuff, and
I am
we
so
ended up not.
jealous.
It was super dope. I basically just drank a ton of coffee, and then I made because they were like little pizzas, so I made like three of them. I was just like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Because they were
Things
like,
are
oh,
like
that
bite
big.
size.
Yeah, they were like 3 inch pieces. They were pretty tiny. And I will fuck a pizza up. So that was really fun. I got really caffeinated. But we kept waiting for the producers to show up, and they were too busy editing all night. And so because they're supposed to have the entire thing done, and we were going to watch the whole movie, even though they're releasing it in chunks. But it just was taking too long. So they never even made it to the party,
Oh damn.
unfortunately. And on the way home, I when I dropped Jess off, I ran into her place real quick because I had to pee because I had a bunch of coffee. But then we watched the episode one on my phone for the first time, and that was pretty cool and pretty exciting.
That's what's
So
up.
yeah, that was the beginning of my week or end of last week, and yeah, it's just been chasing Emma around. I've started writing the new movie. We're gonna do a romantic comedy next because we have to do originals as well. If we're actually gonna make anything of this thing.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I've been doing. Watching a
Cool.
ton of romantic comedies. My PlayStation is having issues.
Again.
Again, yeah, yeah. The disc drive went out a while ago, so I haven't been able to watch any Blu-rays or DVDs, and that's been annoying. Or play any of my games that I have the discs for. Um, but then there was a new update just a couple days ago, and it just gives me
6.0.
yeah, fuck that update. It like fucking destroyed my system. Now it
When
just
did you buy your PlayStation 4? Was it right at launch?
no, it might be a launch system though. It's I got it at Costco. It was one of the bundles that came with Uncharted 4.
Okay, then it was probably close to launch then.
Yeah, and I've had it for about 2 years ish,
Because
somewhere in that ballpark.
I also have just a regular PlayStation 4. I don't have the Pro. I don't think it's a launch one, but I mean, I've had it for a year and a half, 2 years now, and I mean, it's chugging along just fine, but it's chugging, and it's one of those things where yeah, like if you've had it for a while, it might just be, you know, at the end of its life cycle.
Oh, it's fucking bullshit because those expensive ass machines, I get they don't make shit to last anymore, but I don't have to fucking like it.
Yeah.
Tessa has sworn that we're never buying a Sony gaming system again, and well, she's the boss, and so yeah, I
Well,
prefer. I'm not a fanboy. I've owned most of the major systems from the past 15, 20 years. But I prefer Sony. I like their controller the best. They often have like if there's something that's exclusive, I usually like their exclusives best. So I
it's because
prefer I
Xbox doesn't have exclusives.
yeah. So like I like PlayStation quite a bit,
They
but
have a few. Calm down,
I'm
Xbox
I'm frust-
fans out there. I
up in
know,
the
I know.
fire. Well, I mean, if I could get any system right now, I think I'd want a Nintendo Switch because that seems to be what's up. They just announced all
I
those
I
all
do
those
have a
FF
Switch.
games
Yep.
coming.
Animal
They I like
Crossing, a new
Animal
Luigi's
Crossing. Are you
Mansion.
serious?
I
Yeah,
am so
yeah,
excited
yeah.
about that. Whew, it's gonna be great.
So yeah, so Switch looks dope. Of course, that's still like $300, and I don't have it right now. But when the time comes to get a new system, well, although God, by then, who knows? There might be a new Nintendo system. But yeah, all my Nintendo hardware has always been solid.
Yeah,
I've never had a Nintendo system crap out on me. The only problem I've ever had with Nintendo is not enough games that I've been interested in. Like
they
the
have
Nintendo game,
everything on the Switch
Nintendo
now.
Switch is dope. Switch seems to finally be like the perfect blend of like the games you actually want
Yeah,
and with a killer system. With like the GameCube, for example, I loved the GameCube. I still think it's like
I still have
for its
mine.
time. Yeah, I still think it's one of the best systems ever. I love it. I love the controller. The games that it had were fucking amazing, but it didn't have very many games
Yeah.
for it that I wanted at least. But the games they have are fucking amazing. N64 back in the day, played the shit out of that. And yeah, all my
Well,
Nintendo systems were
it
always fine. Never had
you
any issues.
you speak of not getting a PlayStation next, or another PlayStation console. If things are going as projected, it sounds like whatever the next Xbox is gonna be is gonna knock it out of the park. Because they've been setting up their chess pieces so that they will just absolutely crush the PlayStation this next generation. And
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? Sony might be making moves behind the scenes, but with the way they've been talking and the way they've been putting stuff out, as great as their exclusives are, and as much as I would still want whatever the next PlayStation would be, it looks like they're just not getting it. So
no, it
sounds like they're
frustrating.
getting cocky is the thing, because they absolutely crushed it this generation.
There's a bit of complacency that happens when you're the king for so long, and Sony's been the king for like 20 something years at this point. You know,
Well,
I mean,
I
really
would
since
say
PS1
360
is-
was a much better system than the PlayStation 3. Like, that was the one to get. All
Yeah,
the
and I
Xbox
owned one. I didn't
Live
play it
and
that
stuff
much,
was the way to
but
play
yeah,
online.
the 360 definitely hurt him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Sony's been on the top for so long. They're getting complacent.
Yeah.
Because I have friends that swear up and down that like their hardware is usually rock solid, but I had 3 PlayStation 3s crap out on me, and I'm pretty gentle with my stuff. It's not like I'm fucking like banging on it. I make sure to clean it and make sure it's as dust free as it can be. I usually use them for like Netflix. I don't even like play a ton of games. So it's funny because I had a disk drive go out on my PS3, one of them, and I was like, well, it's not like I'm even watching movies or playing games all the time. You get whatever shit just has a finite life cycle, but it's usually streaming movies and shit. So we're probably just gonna. Well, I want to have a disc player because I mean I still have a ton of Blu-rays and shit, but we're probably just gonna go like Costco or something and get like just a standalone, 4K Blu-ray player or some shit like that. At this point, which sucks because I love gaming and I would love to keep doing it. My laptop is a piece of shit because I've got a bunch of Steam games, but it doesn't matter.
Can't actually play them.
Yeah, I can't actually play them like someday. I've been thinking about saving up and building a computer. I don't know shit about computers, but I have a bunch of friends that do, so I know they can help me out.
Eventually, I would want to do the same, but I'm still not used to the keyboard and mouse.
Oh no,
I
I wouldn't do it mostly. I'd do it for production stuff. Like, I mean, I'd probably try some gaming on it, but mostly be for like photo editing and video editing and stuff like that. But I'd certainly try some of those Steam games and see if they worked. If they did, frankly, I'd buy a controller still, one of those USB controllers, because I like controllers, man. I don't like the keyboard and the mouse. It's just not my scene. I know that's sacrilege for computer gamers, but I'm not a computer gamer. I'm a console gamer. I always have been. So I like controllers. They're so much more comfortable.
On one of my old laptops, I downloaded Batman Arkham Asylum. That was where I first played that game on my Mac laptop, and I plugged in I think my Xbox 360 controller to play that.
That you could,
and it worked out great. And I was like, this is fantastic. It was very obvious that my Mac was struggling to make it work, but it made it work enough where I could play the game. But it was like, wow, I should probably not play a game again on this thing. So I want to get an Xbox, and I want to upgrade to a PlayStation 4 Pro, but I still have a bad TV. So like I wouldn't get all of the 4K stuff or the HDR stuff. So it's like, well, I should maybe buy a new TV first and then
my TV's busted. So it's like a fucking 720p fucking plasma. My brother-in-law gave it to us. I mean, I can't complain, I guess, but it's like
true. Dude, I mean, you can get a 4K TV now for like $500, which is a lot, but that's like half of what they were like just
they've come
last
down.
year. So I'm hoping to get one soon, and we'll see what happens. I think that might be my next like major purchase. I'm wanting to get a new bed frame because I have one of those crappy like metal ones that don't hold up for shit.
Yep.
It's like $60.
Woo!
Yeah, it's terrible. So hoping to get that, and then I think a TV will be my next big thing. But we'll see.
Yep. Yeah, eventually I'd love to get a nice bigger TV, and I'd love to get a nice, surround sound system at some point. But that's, realistically,
A
down
surround
the
sound
road.
for me would kind of be overkill because like I have it in my room and like it's just that, so it's like it's small enough where like the TV sound it works totally fine and it's
Oh yeah, for me it's
almost
more of like just the
surround.
mix, because they mix these movies in
That's
in
true,
in
yeah.
surround sound. So there's just it's more like it's just sound effects and stuff.
I watch some stuff with headphones every now and
Hi,
then,
hi.
or
Yeah, what's up, Emma?
I'll play video games with headphones in
Some of
sometimes.
my
So
some of my Depeche Mode records came with like a bonus DVD that has all of them that has the complete album mixed in surround sound, and they sound fucking amazing. It sounds so good. It's like spoiled me.
yeah,
I wish
I
every
don't.
music reissue was like these because they went back and remastered all the albums, and then like yeah, they each came with this bonus DVD, and it had a full-on documentary on each one, on the making of each record, and then
That's
everything in
that's
surround
what's
sound
up though.
and bonus tracks and shit. It was fucking beautiful, and so I bought like every single one because I just love Depeche Mode. But like, God, they sound so good, and I haven't been able to listen to them in many years because my surround sound system that I currently have is like missing pieces in my garage somewhere.
Yeah, she's a singer.
Yeah, you're not getting enough attention, Emma. You can flop low. Yes. So plum all over you. Look like a maniac. Yes. 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 No. What are we doing? What are we doing? What's happening?
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, so I
Tired. No.
I've been working on the music for questionable commentary, and it's
Hello?
always strange mixing stuff because I normally use these headphones, which are not that fantastic, but it's like like $30 Sony on ear headphones,
Yeah.
and they work perfectly fine. And then when I listen to stuff that I've made like in like the Apple earbuds or like this just like Sony earbuds, they sound like garbage. But
That's just
if
earbuds. Just kind of suck.
but like
Right?
it's only with like music that I've made. So like mixing and mastering things in GarageBand, I'm not necessarily the best in.
Yeah.
And so it's like it sounds fantastic when you have good speakers, when you have good headphones, stuff like that. But if you're on some dinky little earbuds, it just sounds awful. And like I can listen to a podcast on like smaller earbud headphones, and it sounds perfectly fine
Yeah.
to me. So it's like I don't know enough about mixing and mastering stuff to make it sound good on those too. Because to me, that's the like golden standard. Most people have the like in ear, little small ones. So if you can make it sound good on those,
Yeah.
then you've hit the sweet spot. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't really know audio production really well. I know that often people will mix down, the record and listen to it on like, their car stereo or
Yeah.
whatever they feel is like. So I could see in this day and age of the Apple earbuds or whatever earbuds
Which sucks. 'Cause
doing
they're
exactly
not-
that, mixing it down and then putting it in the earbuds to make sure it sounds okay. Where back in the day it would have been maybe a cassette in the car,
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's certainly, depending on the different dimensions of the speakers and that kind of thing, it's gonna sound quite a bit different. But yeah, it's a whole. I'm fascinated by all that stuff, but I don't have like the patience to learn it. That's why I was always thankful for Andrew and Out of the Fridge because he knew all that stuff because he was going to school for sound design and had been a pro musician, touring bass player and stuff. So I basically never had to worry about it, and I was always thankful for
I
it.
I played bass guitar for a year and a half, and then I stopped. And I only took lessons because the guy that was teaching me was the father of the girl that I liked. So it was an excuse to go to her
Oh snap!
house and see her. Yeah. I was like, I
That's
can
funny.
learn bass guitar. And you guys are all musically talented, and maybe if I learn
Get
bass
some lessons
guitar,
in
I can
love.
get
Yeah.
some lessons. I can see her, and I can impress her with my bass playing. It's gonna be amazing. And then it didn't work out at all. So
Damn.
that's life.
Yes.
Well, I think I need to get going.
Yes, my family just came home and they want coffee, and I also want coffee.
That
So
does sound
yes,
good.
I
I
think
need to
that is a perfect
make some
place
food.
to wrap it up. Yes.
There we go.
Excellent.
We mentioned Wolverine Chronicles Episode 1. That is already out on YouTube. It sounds like by the time this goes public, Episode 2 will already be up. We will have the link to the YouTube channel in the description of this podcast and in the description on YouTube as well, and on our website, I guess, too, because we put all of that stuff up on our website. Go check out our website if you have not
Oh,
already,
definitely.
the whatnauts.com. We're putting all of
Click
our
on the
stuff
About Us. Look at all of our
up
beautiful
there.
pictures
Yeah,
and bios that Kyle wrote. Read
exactly.
about us. Get to know us.
We are hoping to have some more article and review type stuff up there in the future. We're kind of slowly putting stuff up there as we write it. So be on the lookout for stuff like that. But go check out our website. Go subscribe to all of our podcasts. You can search the Whatnauts and subscribe to the review show, subscribe to the Captain's Log, and subscribe to the Reactor Core. Remember, we are no longer updating the feed that simply says the Whatnauts. I'm leaving it up for one more month, even though I'm not updating it. And eventually that will get taken down, which currently it has all of our old episodes as well of just the Whatnauts podcast. So I think what I'm going to do is eventually start reposting those on our website, and it just be like an exclusive on our website thing. If you guys want to...
Yeah, after a certain point, you get your RSS feed on iTunes and stuff only goes back so far anyway. At least
Well,
I know
you
that's
can-
how it was about the fridge, where it was like,
You can fix
cool,
that
we have
on
200 episodes, but
stuff.
it only shows so many.
You can fix that on WordPress, which the
I know she's about computers, so
the review show
I
has been fixed in terms of that. But I think both the Captain's Log and the Reactor Core on Apple Podcasts is still doing the weird thing where it shows our very, very first episode and our most recent one. So I have no idea what that is, but if you subscribe, it will give you all the new episodes as they come in. So yeah, go subscribe to all of that stuff. The next big thing we need help with is follow us on YouTube and on Twitch. And leave a review on iTunes or wherever you get these podcasts, because that is major. That'll help us out a ton. Even if you don't listen to us on YouTube or are able to watch the live streams on Twitch, please go follow us on both of those. We could use the help there. Last but not least, if you like this show or anything else that we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/The Whatnauts is where you can support us, and you can do so for only $1. We want your hard-earned money. Don't make us come to your house and take all of your money. Just give it to us. It's so
literally
much,
hold you upside
it's
down
so
and
much
shake you
simpler.
out.
Yeah. Don't.
That's how they do it, right? That's how I see it in the cartoons.
Start.
Yeah.
Start.
Like, what's up, ATM? Ching, ching, ching. Yeah, you're my ATM now.
Things start falling out.
Yeah.
Go support us on Patreon if you like what we do and you want to see us grow and expand and make bigger, better content for you, and keep. As much as we want your money, Jess will always be the unpaid intern. This money
she's
is
never
not
getting a dime. Don't worry
going
about that.
to her.
Don't even worry
all.
about that. I told her when she gets she can get a PhD, and I'm still gonna call her my unpaid intern. I don't care.
The unpaid doctor.
Yeah, unpaid doctor. You still ain't getting paid. Not for me, at least. You might be rich as hell. You might have a mansion, but I ain't pay you nothing. So technically, still unpaid.
Yeah, so go do all of the things like share, subscribe, sell your soul, tell a friend, tell a homeless person on the street. Do what you gotta do to help us out with all of that. That would be greatly appreciated. Eric, where can they find you on the World Wide Webs?
I am at the Bobby Krogan on all the things, but mostly Twitter and Instagram. Are the things I am actually active on in any way. And then my pro Instagram is Eric Mannix Photography, if you like cosplay photos and things like that.
There you go. You can find me on the internets at Hush315 on Twitter, and all of the updates for our podcasts can be found at Twitter. My mind just went absolutely blank on Twitter at the Whatnauts. What I need is pizza. I need some pizza. That sounds amazing right now. You can get updates for all of our shows on Twitter at the Whatnauts, and more info on our website at thewhatnauts.com. This has been episode 22 of the Captain's Log. We will see you guys next week. Adios, everyone.
Later.